Hello. Okay. I set a goal this year for 2025 to go live on, sorry, putting my phone on do not disturb so I don't get distracted because that happens very easily. Um, First tip, if you're feeling overworked and exhausted, turn off your notifications on your phone. Today's my birthday, and I made it my goal to start adding massive value on YouTube, on Facebook, on all the different platforms, and really sharing my knowledge and my wisdom, really, and my journey of overcoming burnout. So here I am. It's my birthday. I figured what better day to start this and to get started and just to get it done. If I'm being perfectly honest, I really struggled with doing this today because I didn't have it all figured out and there were a lot of moving parts. And I tend to get stuck in perfectionism, which is one of the reasons I have found myself in burnout over the years. 3 different times I experienced burnout. The first time is actually while I was working on my master's degree in sports psychology. Between working on my master's degree and going to school, I was also working full-time as an athletic trainer. I was newly married and I had a high stress job. I was working with a coach who had a lot of pressure on him to have a winning season. So he got to keep his job, which meant there was a lot of pressure on me to keep his athletes healthy and on the court. That led into a 14-year career of working with high-performing athletes at the college level. And I loved that career. I loved that job. And actually, the painting on the wall right behind me is actually from a former athlete that was a gift when I was pregnant with my firstborn son. Love that job. Super rewarding until it wasn't. And as I had children, had toddlers toward the end of that 14-year career, I just wanted my time freedom back. I was tired of everybody having access to me 24/7. And part of that was the job, and part of it was me lacking boundaries and not really knowing how to set my own boundaries. I had coaches and athletes calling me all the time. On Christmas Day, I got calls, and I just got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. I was tired of working nights and weekends. And I took a leap of faith and I became a stay-at-home mom. And I thought that it was going to be cupcakes and rainbows and that dinner was going to be on the table by 5. And after 4 months of being a stay-at-home mom, I hit a rock bottom. And I found myself at the kitchen table bawling my eyes out. And I remember just like pleading, like, God, there has to be something different. I know you didn't give me this life and these children for me to resent it. And in that season, I did. I resented being a mom. I really hated my life. And I couldn't just check my kids off my to-do list. I had been a high achiever my entire life. And it really started, I can identify like 6th or 7th grade. It was my way to control my environment. And I started chasing achievement and success for validation, for worthiness, for safety, for security. And that carried on through my entire adult life. And so when I was a stay-at-home mom with these children that I couldn't just check off my to-do list, and when I couldn't get them to stop crying or stop fighting or just to listen to me, it overtook my nervous system, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how, I couldn't understand why I couldn't achieve this thing. And it really was detrimental to my health. I also didn't really know how to take care of myself in that season. As a healthcare provider, I was really good at taking care of everybody else, but I didn't know how to take care of me. I was used to pushing my emotions down and just, chugging on and just pretending like everything was okay. I didn't pay attention to my emotions or anything that was going on in my body. And maybe you can relate to this. If you can, drop it in the comments of like, we're just, I think we're just so used to just ignoring things, pushing it off, push it down and just carry on, right? As business owners, as people, as parents, like we just have to keep going. And that is also really detrimental to our mental and emotional health and physical health, quite frankly. Um, we're going to talk more in this about signs of burnout. And a lot of times people don't even realize that they're in burnout. Burnout happens for multiple different reasons. It could be what's going on in life, could be what's going on in business. It could be a combination of all of the above, could be not getting enough rest. We're going to talk about more of this. But today I'm really here just to kind of share my background and my story. In that season of being a stay-at-home mom, I realized how important self-care was. And I became really passionate about teaching other moms how to take care of themselves, because I was hearing a lot of moms like mom guilt, and they didn't feel like they could spend the money on themselves or the time, or they felt guilty, or they felt selfish. And there were all these mindset issues that came into play. And for me, I realized that taking care of myself and learning how to listen to my body literally probably saved my life and my children's life. That was a season in my life where I was not a nice person. I was not the mom I wanted to be. And I knew I could be better. And I became really passionate, and I started a gift box company, a self-care gift box company. And I sourced local products and services, and they were gifts for moms. And I did that for 3 years until I found myself burnt out again. But this time it was for a different reason. It's because I was lacking fulfillment in what I was doing. What I really wanted to do was to create transformation for people. And what I realized with the gift boxes is that people were getting these products and they were getting these services, and they weren't cashing in massages and pedicures and all of these things. And I was like, what is happening? Like, why are they saying they don't have the money to do it? So here we're giving them the self-care in front of them, and they're still not doing it. And it was a mindset issue. They were stuck in the guilt and the selfishness. And this shows up in our business too, in the way that we interact with our employees and the people around us, with our families. We think sometimes, I think that we put so much into our business and our families that a lot of times business owners forget how to take care of themselves, especially women. And there's all of these mindsets and limiting beliefs and things that we were told as children, or society has told us, that comes into play in all of this. And after the third time of experiencing this burnout and this pressure, I was like, I never want to get here again. And with the gift boxes, it required probably 80% of what I was doing was not in my strengths or my skill set. And so I was either having to figure it out and do it myself, and I wasn't good at it. It was very exhausting to me, or I was having to pay to outsource somebody else. And as a new business, when you're constantly putting out money and you're not making enough money, that gets really exhausting and really frustrating really fast. And so I transitioned into coaching because in that last time of experiencing that burnout, I was like, I'm never ever going to get here again. I don't know what I have to do, but I'm never going to get here again. And I made a commitment. And what I realized is I was really a victim of my circumstances. I was constantly reacting to everything instead of being proactive. And so that's really the shift I started to make, was how can I be proactive in what I'm doing instead of just being reactive to my circumstances? I always just thought, if I had a bigger house, it would be more organized. It would be better. If my husband just did X, Y, Z, I would be happier. If my kids just behaved, I would be more peaceful. I was wanting other people and outside things to change how I was feeling internally. And that doesn't work. Just like chasing success, no amount of money or success is going to change how you feel internally. Money and success itself is not going to bring you peace. It's not going to bring you happiness. It can provide experiences that can do that, but money and success in itself is not going to do that. We have to find that internally. And so that's really my heart and my goal. It's what I've learned and what I'm really passionate about teaching other people to do. And really teaching people, like, you can have all of the success that you want You can have everything you want. You can be the mom, you can be the wife, you can be the business owner that you want. You can have it all, you can do it all. You just can't do it all at the same time. And so where my experience and my background comes in, I recognized in sports, there is a training plan. They have off seasons and they have peak seasons, and every single season has a really specific intention of what athletes are doing to get to their peak level. And as business owners, I found this in myself. I find this in clients that we work with is we tend to be at this high performance all the time, whether we're in business or we're at home. And it's really hard to shut our brains off and sleep and get the rest that we need. And there's this fear that rest means that we're not going to get the success we want. And the reality is that this exact opposite of the truth. The truth is rest, the right amount of rest will actually propel you forward towards your goal. You will be more successful. It doesn't mean it has to take you longer to get there. Maybe it will take you a little bit longer. That's totally up to you and how you want to do it. But when we talk about success without sacrifice, people tell me, Cheree, well, I've always had to sacrifice something for success. Absolutely, you have to sacrifice something for success. It's a matter of what are you willing to sacrifice and what are you not willing to sacrifice. I got to the point where I was no longer willing to sacrifice my mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health. I was no longer willing to sacrifice my relationship with my children. I was no longer willing to sacrifice my relationship with my husband for success. And guess what? I am more successful now than I was back then. So it's a lot of this is just beliefs and things that we are holding into our body and things that we think or society tells us how to achieve success. And it's just nobody's ever taught us how to do it. That's why we talk about the RAMP method. The RAMP method is designed just like sports, how they have a off season, they have a preseason, they have an in season, and they have a post or a peak season. And it's all intentional. It's all for a reason. And it's very strategic. And we can bring that same model into our businesses. And so that is what I'm here to share with you. We're going to be sharing tips and tools. And we actually have shared about the RAMP method. So you can go back and watch our previous episodes. We'll drop that in the links in the chat. Where you can go and learn a little bit more about the RAMP method, but we will be talking about that more. But I just wanted to share my story and my heart. And if you are relating to this, if you're hearing any pieces of this, drop it in the comments. I would love to just talk to you and have a conversation with you and help you and encourage you and show you that you can have all of the success that you want and that you desire, and you can do it without sacrificing what's really important to you, right? You can do it sustainably. You can do it while still being fully present with your children and your family. You can do it without sacrificing growth. Rest is not a bad thing. We just have to learn how to strategically rest in the right way. Drop in the comments. I would love to chat with you, hear about, what are your takeaways? What did you hear? What did you relate to? What do you have questions about? Are you feeling this place of maybe you're questioning like, am I burnt out? I'm not really sure. Am I I feel exhausted a lot. I'm really tired. Am I maybe experiencing burnout? Drop it in the chat. We'd love to hear. And we will see you all next time for our next episode.